Hola, hola, and welcome. You are listening to Spiritcraft, a podcast to nurture your soul and unleash the magic within. I'm your host, Marta, and today we're going to talk about tarot as a powerful tool for self-discovery and personal growth. Whether you're new to tarot or a seasoned reader, this episode will offer valuable insights into how tarot can help you gain deeper understanding and guidance in your life. The origins of tarot are shrouded in mystery, but most historians agree that it began as a card game in the 15th century with roots tracing back to Italy, and that over time it transformed into a tool for divination and self-reflection. So we're going to start with the basics. The tarot is a deck of 78 cards, each of which has its own unique imagery and symbolism and, sort of like a story. Usually is divided into two main sections, the Major Arcana and the Minor Arcana. And these 22 cards of the Major Arcana represent significant life events and spiritual lessons, and they include cards like the Fool, the Magician, and the Lovers. The remaining 56 cards are the Minor Arcana, and they reflect everyday events and situations, and they're divided into four suits: cups, wands, swords, and coins, or pentacles. Each suit corresponds to a different aspect of life, and understanding the basic structure of the tarot deck is the first step towards using it as a tool for self-discovery, because each card offers a unique perspective that can help you gain insights into your current situation and challenges and opportunities. However, we must not forget that within tarot there are different systems, each with its own rules and meanings, although overall they're very similar. So we're going to have a look at the different tarot systems. While arguably the most popular tarot deck is the Rider Waite Smith, there are other systems that you might encounter, such as the Thot Tarot and the Marseilles Tarot. So we're going to start with the Rider Waite Smith Tarot. This is the most widely used deck, and it features rich symbolism that makes it accessible for beginners. Its imagery is detailed and provides a lot of context for intuitive readings. It was created by Arthur Edward Waite, and the artist was Pamela Colman Smith. In 1909, Pamela Colman Smith, the artist behind the Rider Waite Smith deck, was a trailblazing woman in a male-dominated field. Her illustrations are so detailed that they have made this deck one of the most enduring and beloved in the world of tarot. Her story is very inspiring and is one that I'm planning on sharing at some point, maybe on the blog. It consists of the traditional 78 cards, which are divided as Minor and Major Arcana, and the Minor Arcana is divided into wands, cups, swords, and pentacles. The court cards in this deck for each suit are the Page, Knight, Queen, and King. Its imagery consists of illustrative scenes on every card, which makes it accessible for beginners. It has heavy esoteric and Christian symbolism, and is one of the most popular and widely used decks, forming the basis for many modern decks. The Thot Tarot was created by Aleister Crowley, and the artist was Lady Frida Harris, and it was completed around the mid-20th century. This deck is known for its complex symbolism and deep esoteric meanings. It's a favorite among those who appreciate the more mystical and detailed approach to tarot. It has the usual 78 cards, and it's divided into Minor and Major Arcana. Some of the Major Arcana names are different, such as Adjustment instead of Justice, and the suits are also slightly different, say they're wands, cups, swords, and discs. The core cards are very different. They're called Princess, Prince, Queen, and Knight. So the imagery of the Thot Tarot is complex, and symbolic artwork is often considered more abstract, and it integrates a lot of esoteric traditions in its symbology, like Kabbalah or astrology. It's favored by those people interested in deeper esoteric studies and mystical traditions. And lastly, we have the Marseilles Tarot, which is one of the oldest tarot systems, and it has a more straightforward and classical style. Its imagery is less detailed than the Rider Waite Smith, making it a little bit more challenging for intuitive readings, but it's very rich in tradition. It originated around the 15th century in France, and it has the same number of cards, only the suits are batons, or baton, cups, swords, and coins, and the core cards are Valet, Chevalier, Reine, and Roi. That's my French pronunciation, which I probably butchered. Its imagery is simple, is stylized, especially in the minor arcana, which are often called pip cards, which are cards without a scene or people or anything. They only show representations of each suit, repeated the number of times as the number on the card. And this tarot system reflects medieval European culture and symbolism, and is popular in Europe, especially in France, and is used for traditional readings. I want to talk also about the Lenormand Tarot, which is named after Marie-Anne Lenormand, a famous French cartomancer from the 18th century. This tarot system is different from the other three because it only has 36 cards, and its imagery is simple and is clear, and it often depicts everyday objects and symbols. These symbols focus on straightforward and practical readings rather than esoteric symbolism, and it's a system known for its concise and direct answers, and it's very popular for daily guidance. And finally, I want to give a special mention to oracle cards, which, even though they're not tarot, they're very popular as a system of cartomancy. I'm only going to mention that oracle decks can vary a lot in the number of cards and the themes, and there's no standard format for imagery or symbolism. They tend to be used for intuitive guidance and personal insight rather than traditional tarot structure. So with so many options, you might be wondering how to choose the right tarot system. And I'm afraid this will depend on what resonates with you and your purpose for readings. For detailed symbolism and depth, the Rider Waite Smith or the Thot Tarot decks might be appealing. So if you prefer traditional or more historical approaches, Marseille is the great choice. For practical everyday advice, Lenormand is ideal. And for a more personalized or maybe intuitive approach, the oracle cards are perfect. So I would say just, feel free to dive deeper into any of these systems and see which one draws to you, and test it before you make a decision if you don't really know where to go, because each one offers a unique journey and a unique perspective in the world of divination and self-discovery. I want to talk now about the use of tarot for personal insight and guidance. Many people believe that tarot is solely for predicting the future, or that it's connected to dark or supernatural forces. In reality, tarot can also be a tool for reflection and insight, helping you connect with your intuition. It's not about telling you what will happen with certainty, but rather offering guidance and perspectives that can help you make more informed choices. Its connection with the devil or dark forces is usually a criticism from different religious groups, mainly because of its usage as a fortune-telling device. However, you can use tarot as a way of tapping into your higher self, for example, or to explore your subconscious about different topics. You can also use it as a creative tool and many other uses that have nothing to do with esotericism or divination as such. Tarot can be a reflective tool that helps you tap into your intuition and explore your inner world. But to use it effectively, there are a couple of steps that you need to take. So before drawing cards, I want you to always take a moment to set a clear intention. It could be a question you have, a situation you're seeking clarity on, or a general area of your life that you want to explore. It does help if you frame the questions in an open-ended way, in a format that allows for ownership and action. For example, you would ask something like, what do I need to know about my career path at the moment? Or how can I improve my relationships? The way you place the cards on the surface is called a spread. So different spreads provide different types of insights. For beginners, I would recommend a simple 3-card spread because they can be very effective. You can do something like past, present, future, for example, which can help you understand the influences shaping your current situation and where you might be headed. And then in order to interpret the cards, you need to look at the imagery and the symbols on each card. I would suggest you to notice your initial reactions and feelings, trust your intuition to guide your interpretation. Many decks come with a small booklet that will have a brief description of each card's meaning. I would say don't be embarrassed to use that as help, especially at the beginning, obviously. Before I go on, I want to share a personal story about my own tarot journey. My main deck, which I've been using for over 20 years, has a unique personality. Over time, we did find a common language. And now this deck has guided me through toxic relationships, career changes, providing honest and sometimes very blunt insights that have helped me grow. So one of my favorite ways of using tarot for self-discovery is to explore situations I need help with. So I will ask the cards for insights into these situations and how best to navigate them, considering what aspects of my personality might influence the outcome. Because I read tarot often, my main deck and I have a special connection. And I believe each deck of cards has a personality and a way of talking to you. And as I said, because I've been using it for over 20 years, we have that relationship where the cards can be direct and even a little bit rude with me. And I won't get offended like a really, really good friend with who you've grown up all your life. And as with many great friendships, I didn't like this deck much as, when we met, because the booklet was negative, it was awful. And even though my first readings were accurate, I was not really using it as much as I should have. But now, whenever I need an honest answer for a topic in which I've been hesitant and I might know the answer, but I'm not entirely sure, or I don't want to, make some decisions, I turn to this deck, because this deck has told me everything that I needed to know, even when I didn't want to hear it. It's told me when it's time to move on, to open up, to do the thing I was scared of, and it's told me truths that I've been reluctant to see. So the way that I use tarot for self-discovery is I basically figure out a situation for which I need help or insights, and then I will ask the cards what I need to know about that situation and how I can best navigate it. I might also ask what part of my personality, like my fears, my triggers, my weaknesses, might get in the way. And trust me, there's nothing like seeing the cards calling you out to get you in gear and do the work. So, as with any spiritual or intuitive practice, it's important to consider the ethical aspects of tarot reading. For example, it's very important to respect privacy and boundaries, not only for yourself, but for others. So never force someone to have a reading or share personal information that they're uncomfortable with. It's also a bit sketchy to read about other people, especially without permission. So, you wouldn't want someone to read about you and your life without your permission. So it's just common courtesy not to do it to them. I would say just try to be honest with your own abilities and your limitations as a tarot reader. So as I mentioned earlier, there is no shame in using the booklet that comes with the deck or checking an online website, which I'm going to leave a couple of my favorite resources to learn about tarot in the show notes. Because, we'll have to start somewhere. So as you become more proficient with tarot, you're going to want to read for other people, which is fine. But please don't lie about your skills or promise things that might or might not happen, because tarot is a tool for self-discovery and personal growth. And it can also, yes, be used to predict the future. But in many cases, the ultimate path is decided by the steps we all take in our daily lives. So the truth is that there are many, many possibilities, and claiming that something is going to happen with 100% certainty is just simply not possible, basically. Lastly, I will say use the cards to empower yourself and others, because tarot can help you in making informed decisions and take positive action. And that relates back to what I was saying earlier about the way we ask questions, because you could ask, for example, am I going to get the job, before going to a job interview? But this question is a bit tricky because, first of all, tarot can answer yes or no questions, but is better suited for questions that require a longer answer and have a bit of nuance. Because if you get a yes as well, you might become complacent and not put enough effort into that interview, or it might give you a confidence boost and you maybe smash it. But if you get a no, it might make you feel disappointed. But either way, the outcome of the interview feels completely out of your control. So I think a better question could be something like, how can I get the job, or how can I have a successful interview? Because it's a kind of question that allows you to learn about the process and take ownership of your own future and make you feel empowered. And by approaching tarot with respect and integrity and this focus on empowerment, you can create a positive and meaningful experience for yourself and others. Because tarot can help you reflect on your emotions and your thoughts, making it so much easier to recognize patterns in your behavior and identify areas for personal growth. So, I don't know, if you frequently draw cards, if you frequently draw cards related to conflict, it might prompt you to explore how you handle disagreements and what changes you can make. People have many questions about tarot, and one of the questions that they ask is if anyone can read tarot, if anyone can learn. Yes, definitely. Tarot is a skill that anyone can develop with practice and with patience. If you think that maybe you need to be a psychic in order to read tarot, let me tell you, that's not the case, because, some people might have a natural intuitive gift, but tarot reading is more about connecting with your inner wisdom and interpreting the symbols in the card. You don't need to have any supernatural powers to be able to read tarot and use it accurately. So at this point, I would love if you sent me any sort of questions you have about how to use tarot for a tool for self-discovery, and any experiences that you already have with tarot, or if you have very, very nice and gentle decks, or if your decks are like mine and they're very blunt and to the point, because tarot, as I say, is a journey. So please don't get discouraged if at the beginning nothing makes sense. It takes a while to learn, and it takes practice. Developing your tarot reading style is a personal journey, so I would say start by learning the traditional meanings of the cards, but pay attention to your intuitive reactions and personal associations with each card. Over time, you're going to create your own unique way of interpreting the cards, and this will resonate with you and the people you read for. So don't be scared to try different things. And one of the things that I recommend for this is doing a daily tarot pull card. And if you check out the website and the blog, which I put all the details in the show notes as well, there is like a complimentary blog post on this topic, and there might be a freebie in there as well for all my followers and listeners to help you with your practice. As you can imagine, tarot can complement many other spiritual practices. For example, you can draw a tarot card after your morning meditation to set an intention for the day, or if you're into astrology, you can incorporate it into your moon rituals to gather deeper insights into the energies of different lunar phases. You can also journal about your tarot reading. That's another excellent way to reflect on your growth and track your progress over time. And remember that tarot is a wonderful tool for reflection and guidance, and it offers you a unique perspective in your journey. But ultimately, all the decisions are yours because you have free will. So you can always decide to ignore it. So I think that's all for today's episode for tarot as a tool for self-discovery. I hope that you found these insights helpful and that you feel inspired to explore the tarot in your own life. Thank you for joining me today. And I would like to ask you, if you enjoyed this episode or any of the other episodes, please subscribe and share with friends who might be interested in exploring tarot and other tools for soulful living, for personal growth. I would love if you could rate as well. If you enjoyed this podcast, please give it a like, give it a rate. And finally, please feel free to send all those questions and topics that you would like to hear more about. I'm really, really looking forward to make this something very useful for all of you. So yeah, until next time, just stay curious and keep unleashing your inner magic.